been a while. Let's do some classic Zelda and chill. It's been so long. This should be the appropriate volume. The appropriate volume. Eludes. Click through all my little thingies. Okay. For everybody, yeah, you're in first. All right, here we go. I'm glad you're there. Will you let me know if I sound okay? My normal speaking voice? Do you hear music? Is it too loud? It's been a hot minute. Is this real? It's real. It's real. Late night. I'm gonna go a couple hours. Yeah, I'll probably go to like 2 a.m. If I do this right. If I do this right. Got all my ducks in a row. I had my bottle of wine, my pre-stream bottle of wine. All right, let's get to it. So, the idea, my super cool idea. I told Danny about it. No. What does that say? A couple of hours, yeah. We'll see. Yeah, you guys should go to bed before I finish. But I'm gonna try and get the most important part of it. Starting a drawing is the start of the starting of a drawing. Yes? So we must start well. It's like swimming, right? It's like, you know, it's all about how like far you can launch off in that first half a second. You're like halfway across the pool, right? Everybody's here. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so the camera is, I'll try not to dilly-dally too much, but just to get us back to, so my lovely wife has donated her old camera that she doesn't use because she has like a newer, fancier camera. And this old camera is like the one I bought her like 7 years ago, but it's got a great camera. You can see that. What is it? Here we go. Look how. Listen, I like this camera better because it. What's the best way of saying this? Embraces the nuance in the midtones instead of highlighting the sharp contrast of my wrinkles. You know, so. Yeah, it's a 7-year-old camera that is it's better than the webcam that came on my new MacBook Pro, whatever, you know. And it's not new, it's like a year old, but thumbnails will look better. And we know that there was a time when young Max was vain and embraced self-indulgence, but New Max has rejected this. You know, New Max is like a monk. Okay, I've taken a vow of it's like I'm like a monk that never looks in the mirror. I'm like this, that holds no value to me. Yes, but the value to others is sacrosanct. Okay, the value of my beautifulness. Here we go. Yes, the value of this. All this. This is my bad side, but you have to get a load of this right here. But it's all just me being really ridiculous. But this is a better camera, and it gives me more confidence. So there you go. I gotta. So here's one thing that is also true about me is my eyes are aging, and if I keep trying to like squint and like read what this says, it's gonna be a little hard for me. I will try, but also, even though it's a Saturday night, it's well past everybody's bedtime. I encourage you guys to rest, watch, but rest, and let the genius flow. Okay, this can be something that I'm glad to see everybody here. I really am glad. But it's also sort of like, this has to be sustainable, and if it's sustainable, it is also productive. Yes? Does that make sense? It has to be the lubricant between my goals, and not the goal itself. Yes? Okay. So what we are doing is, what the hell? My 10% battery life on these damn headphones. Okay, so here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna run them out on the battery life. The stream will not stop if I can prevent it. I will keep drawing, but I must keep drawing with or without the benefit of everybody hearing, if that makes sense. There may be interruptions involved, and I'm just not going to worry about that too much. We have to progress with something that I think is important, because time is of the essence. Okay, so I'm going to pull up a link. You guys can almost see what I'm looking at over here, which is my vertical monitor, which hopefully doesn't dox me. I'm going to pull this up, this little linky. We have an egregious thing that has happened, which is this there's a fucking police helicopter outside my house right now. That never happens. All right, this horrible transgression. Listen, it's only one of two things, and both are bad, which is either this artist didn't use AI and they're getting dragged for it, which is horrible if that's the case, or they did use AI and it's horrible because they are being used to promote an illustration contest. And I've decided I'm not going to be one of those people that is on the offensive about attacking about AI stuff. I will gleefully watch from the sidelines as those who deserve their downfalls receive them. But there are such things as false positives, and there's no such thing as like real smoking gun proof as far as this stuff goes. I won't get into it today, but it's like AI makes mistakes, people make mistakes too. This stuff is tricky. I'm not sure what is bulletproof, but if I stream everything from start to finish, hopefully that's bulletproof. If that isn't bulletproof, I don't know what is. But this is going to be my shot at this. What we're going to do, this is the idea, is this, we're going to sort of look at this as a sort of inspiration and the antithesis, okay? This lovely... And it's like, I'm sorry, but this does look like AI. It does look like AI. I can't say whether or not that happened, but it is, it's giving off those red flags, you know? And, you know, you just sort of have a gut feeling about this stuff sometimes. That said, I'm not levying any accusations. However, I would like to do something that feels like it's in the spirit of oppositeness of the controversy here while still playing into it, which is sort of like, what would be my take on this, except instead of like puffy clouds, rainbows, it was something edgier, darker, still a cute girl, still a hot chick, still has some sex appeal, had something to do with this contest, and hopefully provoked a lot of eyeballs, but in my style. So what we're gonna do is, talked a little bit about this on the Discord, but this is not fully fleshed out at all. But as anybody who follows me knows, oh, let me shrink this. I was born in the 80s, which means I was still a teenager, technically, in the year 2000. And I think it would be kind of cool to draw some sort of like crazy raver chick. Now, there will be detractors, possibly, with the choice here, but I think I can sell it. And I will do so the best I can. I was not a raver, but I have been to a rave. One rave. But it was impactful, you know? I went on my 18th birthday in the year... I think it was the year 2000. And yeah, did a bunch of drugs. And, you know, may or may not have connected with some love interest or something at that time or anything like that. But there was, so I do have real life sort of inspiration to draw from here. The theme of the Clip Studio Paint contest is color palette. And instead of a fluffy white clouds rainbow color, I'm going to do a dark sort of sexy raver thing, you know? Is this something? You were born in 1999. That is, you didn't grow up pretty. I doubt that, but I didn't grow up pretty either. I had a very awkward, let's say, ugly duckling phase. Ugly duckling phase. But by the time I was 16, girls were swooning. They were swooning, and the boys, weirdly, like a goth raver look. So I think goth and raving is sort of like they're not. There will be, so this is where I'm saying is like there will be like sort of like XYZ is not XYZ or whatever, but what I would say is that goth and ravers, where they felt miles of distinction apart from themselves at the time, are in retrospect, the lens of now looking back, had far more in common than they do with like kids of today, you know. So they would have been allies in this new world, I think. An ugly duckling phase in my 30s. I'm in my sort of daddy duckling nonsense. This is you know, I've like literally had a doctor tell me, like, yeah, you need to lose weight, and I'm like, I'm actually pretty skinny, so I don't know what you're talking about. But listen, I'm doing my best. Okay, so all right, awkwardness of the past behind. The artistic challenge is to create a girl in a pose not provocative. This isn't Gooner art, but this is something where we need to evoke an era, which I'm not a champion about, but sorry, not a champion about, a champion. I don't necessarily feel like I'm standing to say like I am representative of raver culture. I'm not, but I believe I can capture that appeal nonetheless. It's part of my job, is to sort of absorb what is appealing about certain aesthetics and distill them for modern audiences and such. Okay, so I think we've said enough about this piece. Let's hope we never see it again. Oh, this is the funny thing too, is I have a comment here. Here we go. And zoom in. Does not work. I can't zoom in very well, but there we go. This is my comment. OMG, how is this still up? Delete this, bro. It has 27 likes. So, but the records show they did not take my advice. Okay, we're gonna put that away. My palette is going to be crazy funky colors with crazy funky lighting. So it's gonna be like more on top of more, which is a challenge. You know, and I might suck at this. I might absolutely suck at this, but we'll see. Doctor says, I never had a doctor tell me that, but I have had a doctor look at me, look at my chart, and look back at me and said, there's no way you're 40. That's good. That's good to hear. Oh boy. My equivalent was I was in a bar at 18 and we were chatting with some girls and stuff like that, and like I was underage by like several years in this bar, and they just didn't card me, and the girl looked at me and she was like, there's no way you're 17. That was me in that photo. Classic Max. I have backups. Anyway, obviously that was a long time ago. All right, who's this? I gotta shrink this down. Backup for your backup. Yeah, for real. It's been my experience for sure. Aiming for linear progress, yeah. All right, I love the chat. All right, listen. You guys kind of like it reinforce each other for a little bit. I like this. I don't need to see the scroll. And despite the Zelda music, this will not be Zelda related, and we're just gonna make an earnest progress at starting. We don't attach a bunch of expectations to stuff. That's not a good recipe. We expect efforts, not outcomes. Okay. All right. This is, and I'll go through things step by step a little bit. All right, here we have a blank canvas. This is a classic 4x5 vertical. We do vertical now, despite my earlier drawing stuff, because vertical looks good on a cell phone, which is how people consume social media. I've already had a bottle of wine, and now this is what's left of my wife's wine that I'm helping her finish while she's asleep. We don't want to draw on the base layer of a canvas because that is white, and that eliminates any chance of transparency. So we make a white layer and we group it into a folder that can't be drawn on. We lock it off. Now we can't draw on anything that isn't transparent, which is extremely important. Okay. How do we draw a dancing girl? Okay. So this is a little tricky for me because this week I've been drawing nothing but, this will sound weird, but orthogonal perspective, like you would see in, hypothetically speaking, an Airbnb commercial where they've got those sort of dollhouse animation type things happening. But we know that I have a couple of goals. I would like to see mostly a full body, but having an entire full body is not as good generally, I think, for play on social media. And so it's okay to have a little bit of cropping at the legs. Ideally, not a harsh cropping. So maybe something that can be blended out. The body can fall into shadow, for instance, towards the lower half. And that might save us, right? I'm so out of this in terms of like the repetition. But you know what's funny is the music is like taking me back in like a Pavlovian sense. I'm quite relaxed now. It's not bad. Okay. All right. I'm gonna make some sketch lines and we'll probably revise it several times. That can be representative of a head that is tilting this way. And if the head here is tilting up in this direction, then with the torso, we do something different. It's a little late to draw the line of action, but it would be something like that, right? Take a second to re-inject it. Head pointing this way, chest pointing this way, right? No dropped frames yet, that's good. See my boxer, sorry, my brother is somewhere. Yo, hey man. If we can, essentially what we don't want is for two body parts next to each other to be doing the same thing, right? So if this head is pointed up this way, then, and we want the chest, because this is like a sex appeal thing, if we want the chest pointed up and this up, then we have to point it this way, right? So that makes sense. Now, if the chest is pointed up and this way, then the lower half basically has two options. We can point it in the opposite direction and up, but that will look like she's falling backwards. So we really just have to point it in the same direction, but downward. So if the... Do you guys see what I'm doing with the shoulders? A little bit of this. Maybe I'll make that its own. I like leaving the lines in, but let me get rid of these arrows. Tilted the head like that, and you guys can't see very well. I know this. Sorry. This is a running joke in the Discord where everybody's like, "We're gonna watch a stream," except we can't see what Max is doing. And that's because like the thing is too small, and the way I draw, I guess. But I appreciate people coming and participating nonetheless. All right. If you're drawing at home, save your work. Save your work every damn 3 minutes or less. Oh yeah, okay. I already started a folder for this called Raver Girl. I guess that's the name of it. There's some Raver Girl references. But this is the first drawing. Raver 1 has a cool name to it. It's a treat when I go live. Yes. It's a rarity. But I'm gonna try and reverse that trend. Boxer, you might notice the camera being different. Everybody say, yay, new camera. Okay. What I'm trying to imply here is that the chest is pointing up, the pelvis is pointing down, and artistically, this is something that's easy enough to appreciate, but in your normal day-to-day, you probably won't notice too much about. But it's like, if you ever do yoga, this is the difference between like cat and cow yoga position. It's like you're bending this way and that, you know. This is going to allow us a couple of things. We're going to have a straight. I think we can have. I don't want it too far to the edge, but it needs some of this. It's okay if some things get cropped. I just don't want to have too much get cropped. Would crop the hand. This. Kind of fell in love with this this hyperextended tense arm pose from the Chun-Li that I did a while back. Yeah, and I like the wider angle. It's sort of brings you, like, your perspective is like you're there, as opposed to like I'm safely far away and viewing things through a telescope, you know. It could be. Maybe I should try this. Some of us, this is what it is. Some of us will understand this kind of when you're on drugs sort of phenomenon where you don't know what to do with your limbs. So you do stuff like mash them up. You'll do like mash them up against your head and stuff like that, you know. You get restless. Yeah, it has to be, I mean, it has to be something unexpected because it's like, also it's like the Boxer, you weren't here for the beginning, but it's like, this has to be the opposite of what. Oh, hey Kiki, come on in.
It's hard for me to sleep.
Can you tell me what's up?
It's hard for me to sleep.
Why is it hard for you to sleep? Come here, come here. Let's say hi. Who's there? Uncle John's on the stream. There you go. You having a hard time sleeping? What if you sleep in the big bed? Have you tried? You want to try for a little bit?
Yeah, if it doesn't work, I'll come.
Okay. You want to sleep here? Well, if you sleep here, you won't be scared. Bring some blankets in. You can sleep right there. And then when I'm done, I'll carry you to bed. You can just bring in a bunch of pillows and blankets and sleep right here. It's cute. It's cute. I know I'm precious, but okay. Do you see some things? Do you want to get more pillows? Okay. That's good. You can put that on the ground right there. Blankets are going down. There you go. There you go. That's not so bad. Alright, there you go. That's where your head can go. Alright. Night night, Kiki. Sort of gives me a perspective on sort of what it was describing, which is like sometimes when you're on psychedelics. Now, I don't indulge much these days, but it's been my experience that you have a sense of restfulness but activeness. But like you feel like you need to like yawn and stretch. You know, you're like you really want to feel it. A little bit like that, right? And so you need to like accentuate the tension. And I hate to say, but I think this whole hip section just needs to be like out here. And then some may have seen this coming, but this is it's a little hard to draw, but let's see if I can. What I want to do is like get one of those like, you know, those big furry boots up in the composition. If I can find a reference, like here. Not like these specifically, but like, I guess that was the thing, right? Crazy furry boots. There's a vision here. I'm not sure if this totally nails it, but let's massage it into place, I think. Because I think it can work. I feel like this needs a lot of thisness. You know, it's like something that feels like really pushing. That kind of twist. I'm gonna flip the image in a minute. I don't want to go too far without seeing some balance here. Yeah, you know what I see now? It's a little kind of like gentle caress. Also, I never got any complaints about my volume or the song volume. I hope everything's okay. You know, let me know. There's limits to what I can really adjust. But you know what I see now is like a certain amount of increased voice volume, huh? Music is fine. I'm not sure how to do that other than like rank output gain, I think. Let's see here. Audio input capture. So I can't talk loud. Will you tell me if this sounds better? Do I sound better? Is that better? Probably not. But now, do I sound better? A little louder? Hopefully. Bring on the mic a little closer. All right, I'm cranking the gain a little bit. How about that? I mean, here. How about that? How about that? How about that? It's up. Satisfied now. Probably blowing out my levels. Blame Danny. Way better. All right. Listen, it's been like a while since I did this the right way. All right. It's interesting. Could be. Okay, so generally what I like to do is have, I do like the hand like this. Let's just sort of carve that out and save it, set it aside for a second. What I like to do is if on the right side of the body, one hand is extended, like the arm, if the arm is extended on the right side of the body, then I try to have the leg on the right side of the body contracted. So if my arm is straight on my right side, then I like to have the right leg bent, right? So if I have the left leg bent in this drawing, then I want to have the left leg, then I want to have the left arm straight, if I can. Let's indulge this for a second. Be interesting because I could thrust the arm behind the head almost. That would be kind of cool. That'd be pretty. I like to make it clear that the poses are doing something specific. And I advocate for this a lot, like the arm clearly going back in space, if possible. Streamline pose. It's tricky. It's not a bad look. That's kind of hitting. Give that a quick save. The posing is part arbitrary. If I can explain a little bit of my rationale for a second. So there's something about the human body that is appealing and attractive in all its many forms, almost universally. It's just sort of like you start out with something good, and it's like, how do you make it better? There are, of course, like exceptions, but there's one can point to many great examples of different body types in sculptural phenomenon. And the thing about sculpture is that really goated sculptures, like say Michelangelo's David, for instance, if you've ever been to Italy and seen it in person, it's good from any angle and in any lighting. Now, if something can be good in any angle and any lighting, then yes, the body is responsible, but the pose is extremely important because the pose is telling us something. And what do they say? It's like 99% of communication is like unspoken. It's like body language, right? Like, what's the body language, right? Let me say that feels right. All right, let me flop this. I'll probably hate it. Okay, I don't hate it, but let's see. Michelangelo died 400 years ago? Yeah. Let's see here. It's too soon, man. I might try a different pose. Yeah. Because there's a certain amount of, I could zoom in a bit. This is, I'm going to try for something a little more aggressive. Yeah. Listen, well, if you're not careful, you'll end up with another 400 years of max. All right. I'm going to retool things. Interestingly enough, in the opposite. And we're going to get something that's going to feel more aggressive. Here she's very like, eh. But we can get something a little more eh, you know? I don't know if it quite communicates it, but let's try. And we can try and... Because here's what's interesting is people respond to like the rough sketch stuff in an interesting way too. And it may be that this could come back in a way that like serves as something happening in the background or something, you know? So it's not bye forever, it's bye for right now. All right, so blank canvas. Let's make an alternate option. Save a new page. Okay, let's get something a little. It's kind of like this kind of vibe, and that was very emblematic of like the 2000s or something like that. It was like an era where everybody was going like like it's like this. Hold on, it's like this. Ooh. You know. Now I'm not gonna, that's too aggressive, right? But that's the, that was indicative of the era. Yeah. Dabbing is cool. Let's see here. This is sort of much simpler. I don't know if it's going to be as challenging necessarily, but I think I can make the appeal about this more of a psychological. Danny's hitting on it. It is definitely more I guess what I'm trying to tap into is a little personal experience here. You catch my drift. And I think that is the goal, is to take what I did in my brain, put it in yours. Give you a taste. Let's see here. Let's go on. You know what? I don't like it just like that. I don't like it just like that. It's tricky. Let's see what we can make of this. Let me flop it. Make sure I don't hate it. Yeah. Let's save that version too. Yeah. Because like if you flop them back and forth, it's like she's dancing. That's kind of like the intent, is to feel like something interesting is happening. Okay. What else do we do to make this interesting? Let's make real decisions. Okay, so I'm pretty sold on this. Just FYI. What you also don't want to do is like have the hands do the exact same thing, right? So it's either like, like they're doing something different, right? The hands are dancing. Like the whole body could be still, but if you were going like this, like as long as it was like something different, right? It could feel like dancing, right? Okay, but here's what I was gonna say. It's not enough just to have one shoulder up and the other shoulder down, right? one shoulder has to be coming towards camera, and the other shoulder is going away from camera. Does that make sense? It's not just like it's also like right? And so you make a choice. Let's make this shoulder coming towards. Now if that shoulder is coming towards, which hip is coming towards? It's right, it is this one. And what's interesting is because of the perspective, it's sort of a little bit fudged, but it's going to kind of go like that. Yeah, that's interesting. I like the idea of this arm committing to going back in space. Something like that. Well, Boxer's asleep, but that's my best guess, is that he's asleep. It's okay. This is something girls will do, is they'll like pretend they're like not looking, and then they'll like look at you, you know. They do that sort of stuff. So I want to like catch that moment. I'm not quite ready to draw the features yet, but something about like the moment of like shooting the look. You have a reference for this pose? Nope. Just straight up from the... You know, and it's like... It's only impressive if it looks good at the end, but well, the reference is the lived experience of myself and other people that understand body language, really. I'm not gonna give her like big bazungas, you know, that's not happening. Not saying anything I'm doing right now is right. Not doing what I just did. It's tricky. Two things can be happening at once where it's sort of like her chest is angled up, but if the camera is higher than her, then that gets neutralized a bit, right? This stuff can be really tricky, and if you're not drawing it cartoony, it's not necessarily very forgiving. I suppose I can make both hands go backwards and just really accentuate the push forward. You know, it's kind of like a, it's not too different from my Minna pose I did recently, all right? We look at something that I did recently, which is this one. So on this one, kind of have this kind of like intenseness, but of course from this angle she looks much taller than us, which is intended. So here we have a similar pose, but we're taller than her. It's interesting. To what extent do we want that to be important? Let's take away the prominence of this. Now, you liked the armpit. Welcome back, Boxer. Good smelling from here. Listen, keep your... My studies of Maki deserve more love. Listen, it's okay. I was ahead of my time with those. In like 6 months, there'll be... The Maki stands will be... There we go. Now I feel like we have... Be interesting, but just for a second. Yeah, well, those studies were goated. Of course they were. Okay. Here it is. This shoulder is coming forward, but the whole arm afterward goes back, right? This shoulder goes back. But even though the humerus goes back, the forearm comes forward. Definitively. Which means this, that's the gesture there. See front ends of knuckles here. Now, course, back this era, everybody was so skinny back in this era. Hey, Vale, my shorts are thank you for noticing, but I feel like my shorts are being throttled. Nonetheless, there will be retribution. I'm gonna make something cool happen with this piece, if I can. Avail, did you see any of this controversy? This Instagrammy controversy? Or whatever. You know, this stuff. This thing. With this artist that was and we don't levy accusations here, but others have done it nonetheless, and it's quite controversial. Yeah, I think so, but for all we know, Avail is besties with such and such person, so. I feel like we're getting... Is it? I mean, that's the question. And it's like, it's just a little bit... You know, one should never listen to the wisdom of the mob, but there is something that is... It wasn't the mob that convinced me. There might be something fishy. You know, I think I need another stab at this. A little cleaner. Maybe not the whole pose, but let me try again. Anyway, so Avail, what I'm trying to do is, because there's a contest that would be cool if I won it. What type of outfit am I going for? The outfit is secondary to the pose. Anyway, we don't dwell on the negative here. So we're just going to advocate for what I can do, or anybody who is not using AI can do. And if that person didn't, then good, you know. But their alibi is not holding up in the court of public scrutiny. That's why I'm streaming publicly in this case, you know, and hoping that is all that is needed. Okay. We're gonna try a third step. I promised a 2-hour stream, so we're gonna try and do that. I don't know other way to do it, you know, other than like fucking up several times on stream until you get the pose right, and then showing how you finish it, right? But I've only got 5% left in my headphones, and then like this much wine left, and then, you know, then we're out of juice. But we haven't done any bad drawings. It's just sort of like, I'm looking for like the right thing. You need to see their other works. You know, the smile. I have to say that like that piece is among several in their online portfolio that unfortunately reek. But you know, it's not a thing. I'm not putting it to like, so what I'm doing right now is being like a little bit opportunistic, because like because of the controversy, there's like a lot of attention on the contest right now. I'm like, listen, if I make something that looks good in time and enter it, then good, you know. I'll be like, I did the opposite, you know. I'll had proof, you know. I don't know. That's if what I do doesn't suck, you know, and it may. So yeah, we can just try. But I'm going to try and do something more challenging. And it's like, it's got to be... Can I get a little bit more... Something that feels extremely like this feels cool. Really leaning forward. Maybe not bent over, but good. Something that doesn't feel safe, you know? You know how like every AI drawing just feels safe? It's like nothing was risked. It's like, how can you be impressed by something that has so many things to prevent it from looking bad? It's like bowling a strike and there's like those gutter bumpers that prevent you from doing anything other than hitting a pin. It's like, okay, it's only babies are impressed by that stuff, you know? What was that first pose? Maybe we can go back to it and resurrect it. Okay, let's try. Oh no, another pose. We may not hit it this stream, you know, but the pose matters, and I just want to. I'm not even convinced with the time lapse they added with the post. Yeah, like it's weird, but I'm not gonna say it's weird because it's not weird. Like something about it is fishy, but like it looks fishy. I don't know. It looked like it's like you could say it's like, okay, well, it looks like someone is drawing and making art with that time lapse, but then like it goes to like the AI image and you're sort of like, yeah, but that's AI, right? So it's like I don't know what to say other than like it's fishy. You didn't convince people even with the proof, so whatever. I don't know what the whole thing would do, and it's sort of like I don't know if I want I don't want the perfect proof to prove something that is AI isn't AI. Do you know what I mean? It's just sort of like it looks like AI, so it just looks like AI. Just make something that doesn't look like AI. Is it that hard? You know? I don't know. But here's me. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try and make something that doesn't look like AI. Head down, chest up. I've heard that theory that the whole thing may have been engineered to be. So it's kind of like so like how do you not see that this is like problematic? And so that it had to have been intentional. I feel like I have something. I think I see it. It has to be intentional. It's I try to prevent myself from being conspiracy brained. So here's the difference between critical thinking and conspiracy brained is conspiracy brained. Often people who are conspiracy brained think they're critical thinkers. There's a big difference. Here's the difference. Conspiracy brained is what everyone's telling me is wrong, is a lie. They're feeding me misinformation. It's not necessarily a bad approach to things, but critical thinking is how do I know that what I think is true is true. That's critical thinking. Critical thinking is not, how do I know this person is right? Critical thinking is, how do I know that I am right? How do I know I'm not deceiving myself? That's critical thinking. It's easy to be like, oh, this drawing is goated. How do I test that? How do I make sure? Big distinction, you know? You can't be the information police for the rest of the world. As much as we'd love to be. Enough action in the pose. This could be it. Save. Thank you. There's something here. Let me try and mess around with it. Add some goodness to it. So what's tricky about this is even knowing the pose, the costume matters, right? This is definitely working for me. Can I get that a little bit higher? Alcidence. You've been in the chat before? You'll have to forgive me. I'm very forgetful. But welcome. It's exciting. Yeah. We're not no, first time? Okay, cool. All right. Welcome in. I'm trying to come up with a cool pose for a cool idea. Are you an artist? It's way past everybody's bedtime, so the chat should be quiet, but then you came and woke it up, so. But right now I'm trying to do a little bit of a clinic on how to make shit from scratch, you know? Now we're applying sort of like, I do too. It's just the 2000s were such an era of like skinniness that I'm sort of applying a modern. Thankfully, we've abandoned some of that stick thin bogusness that was so prevalent in the. Listen, no offense to the stick thin people out there, which I used to be one of them, but I would dare to say that fat is canceled and has been for a long time, and we can reintroduce some of that into a healthy body paradigm. It's just if I over-index on that, it's not going to feel of the era. Figuring your own. All right, making emotes and VTubes. Very good, very good. Welcome. I don't do VTubing and emoting, but that's because I'm old and cringe. And what I'm trying to do right now, I'm liking this pose too, Danny. This will be, if I can, Danny, I'm gonna have to slim this down because of the aesthetics of the era. It's meant to evoke something akin to the. I mean, people used to smoke back then, you know. The 2000s era rave culture, of which I was only a glancing participant in. Bring that back. I just have to figure out some other way. I'm flipping it now, you know. Yeah, I'm still liking it though. Here's what we have. It does look good, yeah. You don't want to fight with what looks good, you know, sort of like just own it, you know. Here we have a couple of things happening. It's like this. It's like this is the gesture pose, right? Maybe like that. Okay. By the way, I love the shape of the figure. Somehow reminds me of Batman from the future intro, like club dancing scenes. Okay, yeah. So this is meant to be in like a rave club, but it's more like her body type is more modern. I hate to give Kim Kardashian any credit for anything, but she did sort of normalize the sort of curvy figure, and that's a good thing. But if we consider this a sort of mannequin in which I can hang drapery, let's see what we can do with. Now this will be something true to my weaknesses, which is I'm not a good costume designer or character designer really at all, but I can make a pose. Let's see, here's the Pinterest board I was looking at. Batman Beyond. I think that's what she was referring to. Or I don't know why I assume Elsa was female, but forgive me. I try not to. There are some exceptions, but actually I don't know the preferred pronouns of anybody in chat. Okay, here we go. And okay, so looking again, I guess there is a sort of like a youth aspect to this culture, but okay, so there was a time when I was this young in the year 2000, and there's a maturity. Let's phrase it this way. There's an immaturity here and a maturity here that feels divisive, and perhaps it could be bridged a little bit, because that's my goal with this. Not because the immaturity is preferable, but the aesthetic of the 2000s rave culture with the colors, specifically referring to the palette being sort of extreme, is the point of interest for this costume. Oh no, it's not a costume. It's just a contest that I plan on entering this piece into. So here we see it. This thing. So okay. All right, let me this is the last of the wine right here. It's mostly melted ice, but how much power is left in my thingies? Still says 10%. I don't believe it, but okay. Do a quick save. Okay, let's go another 20 minutes. All right. Drop dead deadline is 1 a.m. My daughter's sleeping on the floor here because she didn't want to be all alone in bed. But let's see here. Just gonna riff, right? There's nothing wrong with this pose. If you flip something and it still looks good, that's a good sign. Perfect. I think there's a lot of peel here. What I've noticed is this is probably due to my deference in we want to have need the it's not necessarily for everybody, but I've been pleased. Let's put it this way. I've been pleased to see that a lot of the majority of my followers online are female. And I don't know if that's normal for artists who post stuff like the fan, like I draw like Zelda fan art, but I don't shy away from injecting sex appeal into the compositions. So I'm pleased to see that there's I don't know. I'm not necessarily alienating any audiences. Right now, I don't know what I'm doing necessarily. I'm like vibing on the silhouette, right? Just being soft and free, like just finding that, right? And sort of seeing if I can capture a vibe. And from the vibe, you know, find ways of lighting it that are interesting. Also, do you follow me on other socials, or is it just on YouTube? YouTube is the struggliest platform for me, but you know, hopefully you've seen my other works. It's not a prerequisite, but we don't need to add a shit ton of detail to anything. Just indicate the general placement of where if the head is tossing this way, where does the hair go? You know, but the hair will be like neon green or something, you know? And it's like, I guess she doesn't have to be a raver chick, but that's just sort of like where my mind went, where I was just sort of like, it's like, where's like the most depraved place I've ever been? Weirdly enough, we follow each other on Twitch for a long time. Oh, cool. Today's the day I hopped on stream. New Stars of Aligned. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. I complain about YouTube, but actually Twitch, despite being the first platform I got on, is like the slowest of all of them. I was like, I was like nearly giving up, and you know, I spent a year streaming on Twitch to like, it was like just me and my brother. Now I'm a little offended that you don't follow me on Twitch. Don't I follow you on Twitch? I'm almost positive I do. No way. Charity, I've seen one of your streams. I know that. So I'm not sure how it could be that I don't follow you, but I'm sure I do. Oh, you're streaming in Russian. Oh, wow. What is it? What's the phrase? Danis Nayu? Something like that. You know, and then Mi Lublu. That's the Russian I know, right? That's I'm not even sure if that's right, but my wife is Alaskan, so she picked up a bit of Russian in her Alaskanness. Something like this. Okay. Put some ears in there. Okay. And now I talked about this earlier on stream, but the human body is beautiful naturally. So it's more like where it becomes less attractive is sort of in the framing, right? And the posing. We've all seen, I'm sure. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit too naturalistic. Ooh, this is the song I usually end my streams on. We can go a little further though. Don't worry about that. I'm sure we've all seen the maybe not, but Fantasia. Right? The original Disney film. And in that film, we have these delightful hippos doing a sort of waltz or something to like Swan Lake. Basically demonstrating the grace found in all living life forms. You know, we've definitely got some awkwardness at times, but hippos can ballet just as well as anybody else, you know? But a lot of the difference comes down to strength, flexibility, and posing, right? Yeah, they're doing like ballet. I don't know. It's not the waltz. It's like ballet or whatever. But gotta get this a little bit right. If anybody's wondering what I'm looking up at, it's on the laptop monitor in front of me is a shrunken version of the OBS output, and it includes this, what I'm drawing, but what I'm drawing on is massive. guys see this? It's like, you know, it's like me drawing on a giant thing, right? But it's huge, you know? It's too big to be objectives. Or, it's too big to be objective. You see too much, right? So if you can shrink things down, you get more of the big picture, which is helpful. Very helpful. It's massive. It's like a table, right? It's unnecessarily big. I don't require anything this big to draw on. But it's better ergonomically for supporting my frame, my muscular frame. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, it is professional. In case it's not clear, I'm a professional artist. I don't LARP. This is I don't make fan art for a living. I draw storyboards for very large companies that need advertising. Literally the biggest companies in the world. You know, we may have to embrace the curvy. We might have to abandon the we're being taken over here. Let's do a quick save. Yeah, it's getting there. I mean, it's happening. It's doing it to itself, you know? I think I can't take credit, you know. I'm the messenger, you know. I'm just delivering. Right? Who am I to question? I might still try to graft on some kind of, you know, oh, okay. Were you looking on your phone earlier? My format is not like, obviously, like the way I'm streaming, it's not set up optimally for cell phones. She very much has this sort of Marilyn Monroe kind of ness to her. Yeah. don't want to do it. I don't want to slim her down. So we're going to have this, and maybe we switch up the idea a little bit, but oh, you have me on the TV via the PS4 and use the iPhone for chat. Oh, that's cute. Trying to be... I mean, so, like, she seems to beckon a different era. And it's really more like... Can we do... something about her speaks to the burlesque, if I'm being a little bit straight to the point. I'm just wondering to what extent I'm ready to... A little bit of like, I want the drawing to be what it wants to be. It's just taking me by surprise a little bit, you know? But it isn't that it... I think this can still... Okay. Will you guys indulge me for just a bit? What if I tried to put some of this stuff on? Here's some interesting realities, is that, like, I don't think there's... Yeah, so I can try to sort of hybridize. I don't think anybody would say that I'm not allowed to take a modernly appreciated body type, let's say, and send it back in time to a rave with the same clothes on. They look stretchy, and just see what happens, right? Would that be bad? Is it bad to, you know, at the very least you could say that, like, maybe this is not a teenager in the 2000s, but a, you know, a mature woman in the modern era at a themed rave that was retro, you know, or something, you know. I can still make some of this stuff happen, right? But what we need, and let's just, here, make this bigger. Okay, some of this stuff is cringe. Like, some of this rave stuff, like, was bad then and it's bad now. But where I won't... Some things that I'm resonating with are... Alright, we can show some midsection, right? Some skin. We can show some show some shoulders. It's realistic. Yeah, exactly. It's realistic. Everybody here was just sort of like, these people are like teenagers, and I'm not afraid to like just be like, okay, no. But like this, honestly, like this has more modern appeal than this. So it's like, it's sort of like dumb to sort of lean into this too much. But it's the color that I'm looking for, and the textures of the fabrics, right? Not the textures, but the sort of cutout sleeve, the fishnetting. That might be it, honestly. And then just like the different colored hair. I don't know. The more I look at this stuff, it's like, maybe not, but it's just sort of like where my mind went when I was like, what was the most colorful, the colorful shit, I know a lot of ravers that still rave in their 40s. Yes. Okay. So I'm justified. Here we go. I was watching that movie Go the other day, and I'm not going to say that movie sort of like set me on this path, but it was like a few of the intermediate steps were sort of enabled, right? You don't know any super thin ones? Then it was just like the ones that were like curatively selected for the photography that was preserved for the era ended up being skinny, because that was sort of the Abercrombie and Fitch aesthetic at the time. But like the girls that I went to the rave with were not stick thin, Some people are Delulu, that's for sure. Nothing wrong with this. Boys and girls. All right. But okay, so some things that were definitely, and I think that I need this stuff is like a little bit of, oh, you know what is kind of, okay, I don't know if this band is still kind of popular, but Mindless Self-Indulgence was kind of a vibe for a while. Felt like they were sort of, I don't know if they're like canceled or what, but I was listening to them for a hot minute when I was 20. Let's see here. But they have to be old by now, right? Mindless Self-Indulgence, you love them? Okay, cool. All right, but like, okay, so I'll pull them over here because it's sort of relevant. It's like a goth raver vibe, right? Okay, I don't want to scroll too far, but there's just something good about having like something that feels like goggles, straps, right? I'm gonna throw in all the tropes. We're not adhering to anything specific. None of this is a life sentence. Some sort of collar. My headphones are really giving me shit right now. They're like, we're on our last battery. Okay, it still says 10%, but it's given me 3 warnings so far, so I apologize. If my headphones go out, I'll just wave and just have to end the stream, but we'll see what happens. Okay. I like things that sort of feel like they accentuate and capture curvature of the body, even if they don't qualify as like sleeves or whatever. Some of this stuff could be layered. I'm looking to create a complex piece. So it's okay if like it feels like we've got like a tube sleeve with like then another layer of fishnet on it. Like that's fine. That's perfect. Or rips in fishnet or whatever. This is always my favorite. Just a freaking tank top on a chick. Yeah, it's usually just straight across. Okay, hold on. I don't know what this music is. Just for the sake of brevity, we're going to switch to Lord of the Rings and chill. Me and my friend were vibing to their songs as teens, looking at the Invader Zim edits. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, when I was a kiddo, not a kiddo, but like Yonan Vasquez, the Johnny the Homicidal Maniac guy, like those were indie comics I read in their time. We all thought we were really cool reading Johnny and Squee. And I never ended up seeing Invader Zim. Not really, but obviously, like, we knew that, like, oh, that's cool. So some of this stuff looks good, a little undefined. I'll do the fishnet stuff as a separate layer. I think I'm a fan of all the funky bracelets. It's like all that like bracelet stuff happening. All right, one of my ex-girlfriends at the time said, like, the more thin black rubber bracelets a girl has on her wrist, the more slutty she is. I don't know how true that was, but she had a lot of them. Like, math is mathing, right? Not true at all for me. Okay, good. I mean, I don't care, but it's sort of like it was a cool look. You just like them. Good. Okay, good. It's not like Pokemon, okay? So we're on the Lord of the Rings and chill. No, Lord of the Rings lo-fi. Fairly relaxing for me. Getting to the huh. Some think of all the different things, like really thick earrings of all sorts. Why not throw in some eyebrow piercings? And nose stud. I don't know about the lip piercing necessarily. We're not against it, just not necessarily quite right for the composition. We're not going to see any exposedness, but there's definitely a prevalence of nipple piercing in the era that we don't have to resurrect here, but I'm just trying to consider ways of layering texture. Low rising something happening. I'm no expert on trying to calculate where belly button might be. It feels somewhat accurate. Got blurry. Oh, I got blurry. Oh, yeah. What's happening to me? Do you hear me? Hold on. I got all frozy fuzzy. That shouldn't be the case, but maybe it lost battery or something. Used to be like I could Can I refresh it? Dang. Oh, well, I'm still here, but obviously that sucks. No. Wait a second. Main. Oh. It's Simps. All right, it's all good. All right. Yeah, I probably should rest. I mean, that's okay. I'm gonna sketch a little longer. This is, I'm not sure what happened there. Not a good thing, but without without, I guess I could switch it to this. Look, I'm still here, Just this camera sucks. Yeah. All right. It's all good. I'm out of wine anyway, so. I know. This is like, hello, sir. What kind of storyboard can I draw for you today? You know. The world of the professional artist is not glamorous. I mean, I guess it all depends on your opportunities and that kind of thing, but the niche I found myself in is not. It's not the one I got into. It's changed over time to become something that is very draining for me. I talk about this too much, but it's like I miss being able to be collaborating in person with people and sort of feeding off of that collaborative energy. That's why streaming is actually so interesting. It's like, it feels like it's a part of that resurrected. It's come back a little bit. I just need to figure out a way to make that pay bills. Feels like a long shot, but maybe. In any case, I'm doing fine with the storyboarding stuff. I just want sustainability, and it's elusive. It's really hard. Even like the best artists out there are struggling. So
welcome to Rivendell.
this is been fun. Like if she wore like, maybe it's okay. I used to know a chick who would wear like all my stories about like one old chick, but she had, what was it? It was like this. I don't think it actually like. It was just sort of like this loose belt. Maybe that doesn't. So like maybe it doesn't matter. It could be like something that feels like it has gravity. But it was just like rhinestones. Not rhinestones, but like and like this would have been like a skull. Studded. Yeah, it was like studded. Yeah. This is right, but it's like a start. Bunch of fucking necklaces. what does this say? Let's see here. Very, what does this say? Very all hot topic and emo punk. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Speaking of streaming, I've once had a random viewer hopped in streaming art, just randomly donated $200. That's cool. How do I turn on that? That would be I'm reticent to this is more about giving back than receiving. Ossidence doesn't know the full Max lore, I don't think, but I'm more in debt than I am in deservance. I must selflessly give the gift of me. It's the most priceless thing I can give is me. Well, this is looking fun. All right, we have something here. It's funny. It's a little different than what I initially was thinking, but it has grown to be its own unstoppable force, and who am I to complain? It's apparently what the people want. I'm here to deliver it. Let me quickly save, tweak a couple things. I'm still hearing music in my headphones, so we're gonna keep going until it's done. He said that he receives more money than he can actually spend. He lurks around. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. Listen, there are that's a real thing. People who sort of overflowing pockets and guilty consciences. And good for them for looking to do the most right that they can. It's a complicated place. Right. Feel like. All right. This is just again drawing from personal experience, but it was always like cheetah print pants. I'm not joking, like Peggy Bundy style. Like Hot Topic to a T, but that's what it was. It's something different. It's something different. Let's not worry about it too much for now. Every day can be a sketch. Every day. No, dark is not good. I mean, alternatively, they could just be dark. So definitely saw it happen. Acid colored cheetah pants are the vibe. That's interesting. I think it's about right. That's about right. All right, listen. Okay, one more thing. Just as a test run, color in this negative space. That's super important. I have less than 3 minutes on these headphones, so we're gonna move quick. But what this does is help separate positive from negative space. You see the form, silhouette. Unencumbered by lighting, of course, but let's try something. Yes, hold on. Fishnet arms could be a bright colored pink or green. So that's the sort of the idea, is that like all these are sort of extreme colors, and then they're also being hit by extreme lighting, not unlike the weird lighting, the lovely bisexual lighting I have in my stream background. Here we go. Hold on. Quick save. Right, and it's for the presentation of the thing. And what I think would happen is that we would have some of this interesting, hold on. There would be Like it wouldn't all just be hitting at once, right? Some of this would fade, right?
Go back, Steph! Going to Mordor alone. Of course you are. And I'm coming with you!
So when it's lit, there's like some context to how it gets exposed. Right? And it's like that helps shape it. He's right at that tank top. Yeah. No doubt. Some things leave an impression. My wife used to work at the tank top. The tank top. The Hot Topic at the Northridge Mall. Or is the Topanga Mall? One of those. Right, yeah. I think we should all say goodnight. I think it is the time. But you can see how some lighting sort of really like brings some nice composition to it, right? Happens quickly. Right? So really does so much, and yeah, we're just getting started.
Glad you're with me.
Okay, so let's do it. Let's call it a night. This is a great start to something fun. This is what I call, and I've called it this on previous streams. I hate the fact that I look like a goober right now, but flip one more time. Oh, okay. Let's see here. Oh, don't curse me, Danny. I hope this works. Yeah, it's goated. Yeah, that's good. I mean, yeah, there's small things I can nudge around, but the appeal is there. You know, we just throw in a little extra. Needs a little something, you know, and then could be anything. Some wild bracelets. Funky lights. And then like even well, I was gonna do some interesting things, but we'll have to save that for another time. But like even the other poses that we did at the beginning of the stream could like populate the background, you know, make something interesting happen there. Sometimes I like to, I say sometimes, almost every time I like to make the make the middle of the eye line in the middle of the thing. Let's see how that works. Can we try? Don't know if it's in the cards today. Yeah, I liked it better before. We're gonna leave that be a rare non-centered pose. I say it works. I say it works too. I think I might, hold on. That's the problem with me. I'm gonna stop in a second. Hold on. There we go. Just needs a little. That's what I say. All right, I'm gonna save it there. Yeah, it's good. All right, listen. Good stuff. Let me do a 50-50. Oh, God. It's all suboptimal. I can't believe my camera died. I don't even know what happened. But you guys are amazing. Thank you for showing up on an off night. Making a guy who never streams feel like he's super popular. This is gonna be the worst thumbnail ever. I don't know what to do. It's all so shrunken. All right, this never happens to me, but thanks so much. I'll leave you guys, and